right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Hi, Paul Martino. Thanks very much. Good evening once again, everyone, and welcome to a nighttime edition of the Nightly Sports Call. We were on the air after the game, and we're back here tonight at 412-575-2600. That is the number of the Bordas and Bordas hotline. And I want to remind you, this show now tonight, we'll talk about all things. So if you have a call about Pitt, about the Penguins, about the Pirates, whatever the case you want to talk about, it goes beyond the Steelers. However, we, of course, begin with the Steelers. Joining me tonight here in studio is Mr. Tim Benz from the Steelers pregame show on DVE and also Trib Live. And Tim, 0-3. Every time they've started 0-3, they've never made a playoff appearance. Do you think this year may be different?
No, they're not going to make the playoffs. I don't see them making the playoffs. I thought they might barely qualify for the playoffs at 9-7 when a lot of other people were more optimistic about their standing. And the way I look at it, Bob, this is kind of akin to what we saw in 2013 when they started off 0-4. And a lot of people were saying it's over, it's washed up then. Then they made a little bit of a run and got themselves back to 8-8. And I keep hearing that referenced as a positive point of origin. Like, well, they got back into it then. Yeah, but they still didn't make the playoffs.
Right. This
is not 2004. You know, I know a lot of people wanted to draw analogies to 2004 when Rudolph took over for Ben. Game 2, elbow injury to the starting quarterback. Not only is this quarterback not Ben Roethlisberger, Antonio Brown is not going to be recreated with Deontay Johnson, or if you want to say Hines Ward from 04. This line is not what the 04 line was. This defense is not what the 04 defense is. And certainly this running game is not the 04 running game.
And that's where it starts for me. I keep talking about a run game that has to help, especially a young quarterback like Mason Rudolph. Not much commitment to it, not much results from it.
No.
And James Conner, another critical fumble. And again, if you're going to look back at this game, the storyline is the Steelers did not take advantage of opportunities. San Francisco certainly did in the second half. Steelers defense, even though they made 5 turnovers, I thought 3 of them were kind of gift wrapped to them. The other 2 they forced, but still. When it came down to getting off the field in big situations in the second half especially, they just could not do it. And that is a recurring theme with this team. Year in and year out, it seems. Their weaknesses have not changed.
Correct. And I think the biggest issue, you touched on it there, and we can go through a litany of things that went wrong today. The biggest problem was not capitalizing on turnovers. You get 5 and you turn them into 6 points. Conversely, San Francisco had 2 turnovers. They turned them into 2 touchdowns. They had 20 snaps after getting 5 turnovers. And field goal, punt, fumble right back to them. And as far as James Conner goes, it's not just the fumble. I think he was only averaging, what do you wind up averaging? 3-point-something yards?
3.7.
3.7
yep.
actually
for the
went
year,
up.
Yeah, exactly. It's worse than that. For the year coming into this game, it went up.
I don't know why they don't like Jalen Samuels more as a runner. I've allowed myself to be pleasantly surprised. As a runner, I came in with a preconceived notion he could only be kind of an H-back guy, but the way he has run the football when given the opportunity, I've been impressed with. They decided to take Benny Snell with a 4th-round pick when they had other needs that they decided to not address, including pass rusher. That depth was definitely tested today with just Ola Adaney out there, and yet they're not trying him when Conner isn't working. So they're throwing darts right now, Bob, themselves, and they're missing.
They really are. And, you know, the bottom line is they need to get production from certain people. They're not getting it at this point. The only thing I'll say, Tim, about this division is, you know, here we are. Everyone may lose tonight. The Browns are losing currently. At least they were last check. So they could be 0-3 and still tied with the Bengals, 1 behind the Browns and 2 behind the Ravens. And they have head-to-head meetings coming up and then 2 next week, which, fine, you can create that, but that leaves no margin for error. You got to win those games. These 2 losses were NFC losses, so if you want to look at it from that point of view, go ahead. The problem is I look at it from what I've seen year in and year out. Cannot get off the field on 3rd and long or 3rd and longer than it should be, and on offense, not converting opportunities when you can convert them. Run game disappears, whatever. We have a lot to talk about on that topic. I do think the Baltimore Ravens, if I look now, and even though they lost today at Kansas City, Tim, I don't know what you thought, but I thought they gave them pretty much all they can handle. Plus,
I thought they clinched the division.
Their defense hit Patrick Mahomes, so I give him a lot of credit. He stood in there, made plays. He's a tough guy in addition to being a guy who may end up with 6,000 yards in his career. Who knows? Or in his season. We never see that. People think you'd never see that. But the way he's going, he might be the one guy to do it. But the Ravens bring a defense that's good, fast, and physical.
I got the impression they were just trying to hit him for the sake of hitting him.
Just to hit him.
They didn't care if they were going to get the yardage. I think they feel like Patrick Mahomes could get 15 yards whenever he wants to get 15
He
yards.
can.
So if you hit him in the process and break up the pass, or at least affect him enough so he incompletes the pass, who cares? Maybe you knock him out of the game. Maybe you knock him out for the season. You got a chance at the playoffs, too. It felt like that was part of the strategy. They didn't care.
No, they didn't. And so bottom line is they almost won that game. They made a questionable call on a two-point conversion, which I still can't
Why
figure.
do they
I'm
do
sitting
that?
there watching that
So
game
dumb.
up there with the guys today, and I said, now
Stupid.
what is he doing? At the time, the extra point would have made it 30-20. So it's 30-19. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he tries to go for two, which would have made it still, a touchdown
It's still a 9-point game.
and a two-point conversion and a field
The
goal.
thinking is, I guess,
So-
then at that point you can win it with a 2-point conversion.
Yeah, but you don't want to put yourself in that boat. Why do that?
Exactly.
That way, if it's 10 points, you get field goal, touchdown, and a point after, as opposed to having to hit all three of those. So I didn't understand
That's
that
sort of
at
the
all.
Narduzzi thinking, really, from back at Penn State.
Speaking
right?
of that, let's talk about yesterday, because that was something, out of the blue, a Pitt special, and it came on a 4th and 3, and I'm thinking, here we go again, 4th down in their own, what are they going to do here? But they did something creative.
Are you going with Pitt special, by the way?
Is that what he said?
I kind of like the immaculate deception, but that's just.
Well, there's a lot of immaculate things in this town. That's I like. He said Pitt special. That's what I thought it was.
How often could he
and
use
it looked
immaculate
very
with
much
Pitt?
like the Philly special that won a Super Bowl.
You know what it reminded me of at first? Like, do you remember when didn't Mike Mularkey kind of pioneer that
Yeah.
the quarterback walks away from? Remember Cordell in Tampa?
Cordell walk over here, and as soon as I saw him walk, I knew that was coming. As soon as I saw him, and I'm surprised maybe Central Florida didn't count, but they should have. In that kind of play, did you see it when it was happening?
Yeah, I watched that.
Did you
Yeah.
think? Because I did. What's he doing over there? That's going to be one of those trick plays. That's immediately what I thought. Maybe I've seen
if I
it.
had seen Matthews Matthews didn't wind up in the backfield.
No, he was over there.
That
wide.
extra element of the running back then handing the ball to the wide receiver is just something else that could go wrong,
Right.
and it didn't, which made it all the more
But
impressive.
I give him credit. They tried something unique, and it worked, and it got them a win in a game that I thought to start the third quarter they were going to lose, just like they've done so many times. But it's a big win for Pitt. We'll see if they could build on it. In the meantime, Pitt volleyball against Penn State. Boy, that's become a nice little rivalry. Home and home, went to Pitt at Rec Hall the other night at State College, and they swept them to win. And today they got their revenge, did the Nittany Lions, came into the Fitzgerald Fieldhouse, a really good atmosphere there, sellout crowd, and they saw Penn State win in 5 sets. So that's something we'll talk about. And also the Penguins in action tonight. They lost in overtime. But, Tim, I want to, real quick, because we haven't talked too much about this, the season starts here in just over a week. And the Penguins, I'm interested in line combinations because I think pretty much this roster is set. Nathan Legare is looking good, but an 18-year-old to get a 10-day trial on this team I don't think happens. They signed Sam Pouliot today, but still, the bottom line is we know who's going to be on this team. The question is who plays with whom. Because I like Cahoon on that top line, and I know that may not be the first choice.
We don't know that Rust and York will both still be here.
True.
That could end up getting.
Because they do have a salary cap issue. They have to get under it. It's not by much, but they have to get under it.
Right, exactly. So, and I think they can get under it now, but they're not going to be comfortable at all. So, Bugstaff, by the way, I said Bjork, so I apologize.
I know who you meant.
But if they are comfortable with being right up against it, then that's a lot of money still to have Brian Rust potentially be a third or fourth liner on your right wing, isn't it?
It is. But it's a luxury they have at this point, but they may have to do something about it. Another way you can go, theoretically, although I won't agree with this necessarily, Casey DeSmith signed to be the backup. Tristan Jarry needs to figure out what he is. And he played tonight, and I watched a little bit of that game. He costs less. You can actually make a move there to save money if you want. Now, that doesn't necessarily send the right message, although you can do it for a couple games until you figure out something, if a trade is to be made, but maybe a little bit later than you would think. Who knows?
But that still doesn't solve the problem of paying a lot of guy to be a
Right.
fourth liner, which I guess they could be comfortable with.
Do you like Cahoon on the top line, though? He
I
played
think
with Kanan.
I think I like him better because of the speed element with Sidney Crosby, and I know they're thinking about having Tanev do that potentially, but also the notion of Tanev kind of playing almost a Carl Hagelin role and being a puck retrieval guy and then getting it to Galchenyuk and Malkin, that's intriguing to me as well. I don't know, there is a little comfort zone in hockey to work things out over the first 10 or 15 games, but that's all they're going to be allowed to have because I don't think this team has got the padding that it used to have to screw around with this sort of stuff and then still automatically make the playoffs. I think making the playoffs is more in question this year for them.
Could be.
And it was very much in question last year when we all thought they were going to make it easily, and they got to, game 81, 82 before they sewed it up?
It's,
it was 81.
a tough Eastern Conference, there's no doubt. The other thing, I like, Jerry McCann is showing he can play on the top line, but I think you need him on a third line. I prefer him that way as a third line center. You have Teddy Bluger. They have a lot of guys they can do a lot of different things with. We'll see how it goes. It starts October the 3rd. We're going to take a break and open it up to your phone calls right now. It's 412-575-2600. You can also tweet us tonight at Tim Benz PGH, at KD Pop. We'll do that and more when we come back right here live on Pittsburgh CW. The Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call is brought to you by Ireland Contracting, putting new roofs on Pittsburgh homes for over 25 years. Call Ireland Contracting at 1-800-NEW-ROOF.